My name is Jaap Lombaars. I've worked with TNO already quite some time, over 30 years. And the first part of it was at an institute called TNO Product Center, which was a product development institute within TNO. So these were my early days, and what we're seeing now here today comes from this early period at TNO.
My name is Steven de Kroes and I'm responsible for digital and services. Self-scanning has been with us for a very long time. It started somewhere in the end of the 80s for Albert Heijn. And back then it was a revolution basically, because it meant that customers for the first time didn't have to go in line to wait and to have somebody else scan their products, but they could do it themselves during shopping. Since then it's been growing every year, but more rapidly over the last 10 years or so. And now it's in all of our stores, and you just cannot think about an Albert Heijn store anymore without having self-scanning there.
Actually, we were approached at that time, and this was in 1988. We were contacted by a person at Albert Heijn, and he had this idea of self-scanning. So the basic idea of letting clients do the scanning themselves came from Albert Heijn, but they approached us to come up with ideas of how to implement it and how to go into the details of self-scanning. And we then did actually two projects. A first project where we made a kind of simple prototype just to be implemented in a single store. And they said, okay, we've tested your concept, it really works well, and now we want you to develop the thing that we can implement at large scale. And this was the scanner that I have over here.
Well, self-scanning helps Albert Heijn in a few ways, and most importantly it helps us cater to more people at the same time, because the self-scanning solution is much quicker than a regular cashier. And then of course that helps us greatly increase the turnover in our stores, because we're not hindered anymore by physical people or a lot of space that is required for regular cashiers.
Then Albert Heijn actually was really happy with it, and they made a commercial deal with this US company, Symbol, that they were allowed to, let's say, commercialize the self-scanning formula outside the Netherlands. I've been seeing self-scanning in the UK and in Germany and in Sweden. So it's also become it has become an international success, and I think Albert Heijn actually earned a little bit back by the license that they gave to Symbol to let them internationalize the product.
In the future, what we see is that a customer can basically have everything in their own control and typically doesn't require any hardware or any supplies in our store anymore. They can just use whatever is on their own device, on their mobile device, and go all the way through the shopping trip and finish it and walk out basically. I don't think the cash register employee will disappear in the short future, because we see a very important role for our employees there, because they are the ones that actually have interaction with customers, personal interaction, and employees can sense and can feel, whereas a machine typically cannot. Having a person there that can talk to you is very important for us, and we're proud of our people there, of our cash register employees, so I don't think we'll change that for the near future.